listen, you mentioned that Fury fight at Tottenham a couple of weeks ago. And another person in attendance was Oleksandr Usyk, and he was accompanied by his promoter, Alex Krassyuk. So I'm delighted to say joins us right now here on Chatterbox. I want to get your opinion on this. What did you make of Fury Chisora, and what did Oleksandr make of Fury Chisora? Because it's very interesting to get from the horse's mouth.
Hello, everyone. That was a funny entertainment, you know. The fight itself didn't look really like a fight. It was more like one-sided sparring from a tall man beating another man who is not that tall. Well, it was good for the public. 60,000 at the beginning of December when it was freezing outside on an open-air stadium. That was an amazing thing. And it's good to know that boxing can collect that amount of people in wintertime. It means that this is a very important and very popular sport. So coming back to the fighters, Fury did what he had to do. Chisora unfortunately didn't. And after the fight, he called out Usyk. He was looking for him around. Then Usyk jumped up to the ring, and he started to shout everything he could. The good thing about Usyk is that he's not a big English speaker, and he doesn't really understand 100% of what Tyson was getting on him. But it looked funny. And the funniest thing, I don't know if you mentioned that in one time when Fury was just putting all the energy on him, his phone called. And he was like, just a second. Sorry, yes, let me call you back. That was a funny thing.
I could imagine. It's always entertaining when Fury's in their house. Now, you were sat actually next to one of the other contenders queuing up to fight either Usyk or Fury, Joe Joyce. Listen, let's have a little look at Joe Joyce in the stands.
You think you can beat Fury? You can think you can beat this man next to you?
Mate, I have the both of them. I have Fury and I have Usyk.
Joe Joyce is one of the toughest contenders at the moment. That's 100%. Strong, tall, experienced. He's not young. He's like big balls, you know, big heart. Everything is for him. I mean, he's not that skilled if you compare him with, let's say, with Usyk. But it doesn't mean he's a loser. He has a heart of a winner. Just remember his fight with Dubois, what he did. And he can take the punch, and that's something that you don't really often see in the heavyweights.
Stylistically for you, Alex, and this may sound like a pretty silly question, but who do you think gives Usyk more problems in a fight, Joyce or Fury?
Oh, I have no idea. You know, Usyk is the man who doesn't care about who is fighting. His way of preparation for the fight is the same. I mean, he's getting prepared all the time according to the very disciplined plan. The difference is just the set of the sparring partners. And normally his camp, his trainer, corner, tell him what to do, and they keep like a joystick from Usyk, and Usyk does whatever they say him to do. So that's very simple. That's actually the secret of how Usyk gets all his victories. He's not trying to invent something special being in the ring. Everything been invented in the training camp before, so it's a party for him. Getting to the ring, the fight night is a party after a huge preparation, after being so tired within like 12 or 13 weeks. So he does what he has to do. But, you know, the only way to see is to stage the fight. But the more preferable opponent is, of course, Tyson Fury.
What about the fight? Like, how confident are you of it actually being made? Obviously, we've got two big, huge names here in the division. They'll each want certain demands, but how confident are you that the fight will get made?
This is #1 priority for many reasons. The biggest reason is the fourth belt, is the WBC. The second reason is that Tyson Fury is now the biggest star in Great Britain. Means, let's say, in the world of boxing. For me now, British market is #1 in the world. It means that Usyk is facing a very big man. This is the biggest fight of the century. This is the biggest fight of the history in heavyweights. We've never seen in four belts era anyone keeping 4 belts in heavyweights. It means that the winner of this fight will definitely go to the history of boxing, to the Hall of Fame, to whatever. I mean, this is a very important fight. And it has to happen next.
Hello and welcome back to Chatterbox. We've talked a little bit about Fury Chisora, but I think what took place afterwards was arguably more significant when this happened.
15-stone little midget beat a bodybuilder. Well, I ain't a bodybuilder, sucker. I'm going to write you off. I already done one Ukrainian Klitschko, didn't I? And I'll do you as well, gappy teeth. You ugly little man. You ugly little man.
Alex, I want to say to you, it must make your life a lot easier because I mean, it's hard. You hardly any need to promote the fight when Fury's around.
Absolutely no need.
You even drag a little bit of stick towards you, Alex.
Yeah, he did mention something that he's gonna beat Usyk in the ring and me out of the ring.
Do you know what I like about Usyk is in comparison, it's night and day with Tyson Fury, where he's kind of loud, he speaks very well, he's kind of always the joke, either sitting or shouting in someone's face, but Usyk is cool, he's calm, he's collected.
It was amusing for him because he understands the real personality of Fury. That Luke and there are two Furies: Luke Fury and Tyson Fury. The one in front of the camera with the mic, the other one out of it without the mic. And that's what actually happened in the ring. Because when they pulled out the mic from him, he was like, "Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much." We shake hands. That's really amusing, you know. And it's funny to deal with such a personality because he's real. I mean, he's making his job properly. It's not just about promoting the fight. It's also a mind game. He's trying to get under his skin. He's trying to get into his brain and to wash it according to his demands. But the funny thing about Usyk is that he doesn't care about that. He's playing his own game. He's playing his own game with Tyson, which is not about trash talk. It's about like behaving. It's about staying strong, still, focused. These are the clash of two different styles.
So, Alex, I'm sure you're backing Usyk to beat Tyson Fury, but what does he need to do to beat Tyson Fury?
He has to do exactly the same thing that he used to do in his last 10 fights. He has to be quick on his feet. He has to throw punches, like almost 1,000 within 12 rounds. He has to score the victory. And if it comes closer to knocking the guy out, he will use this opportunity as the wild predator. He has that in his blood, but it's never been his main focus. So he comes to the ring with the goal for his hand to be raised after the fight. That's the only thing he cares about. He's doing it properly. I mean, he's doing it according to the plan. His corner gives him the discipline, how it should be done. And the only thing he has to do is to comply with all the demands from the corner. So I don't think that it's a question for what he has to do in the ring. It's more a question for what he has to do in the training camp. Because when he goes through 12 weeks of hard work, of hell, of hell. It's not just hard work. He comes to the fight like very confident. He doesn't care about what he thinks, what anyone else thinks. He cares about his goal, and he cares about what he has to do in the ring. So nothing really complicated about the plan. But the mind games before, they might pay off considerably.
Is it a possibility that Usyk could win by knockout?
Of course. You know better than I that to get a man knocked out, you just need to touch his chin with the proper power in a proper moment. And doesn't matter how big the man is. The bigger man is, the louder is the sound when he falls down. You know, it's like he's been down many times from a cruiserweight, even from cruiserweight.
Yeah. Does Usyk take confidence? So obviously we've seen the Wilder fights where he was knocked down, but he was knocked down by Steve Cunningham, who was a cruiserweight and probably not the biggest punching cruiserweight in the world.
Exactly. And see how many times he's been down with Wilder. Well, Wilder hits hard, but I mean that he found the moment to land his punch. It means that Fury has troubles in his defense. It means that he misses, and if he misses those punches that bring him down, it means that there is an opportunity to knock him out.
We've seen Fury almost change his style over the last few years, where it instead of defense and that kind of slick style that he had, it's more front foot. He puts the pressure on fighters. Do you think that will actually play into your hands in terms of creating openings and he isn't than say 3-4 years ago?
Definitely yes. He will try to use his advantages of size, of weight, of reach, and that's good for a fighter to use it in a fight. I mean, he will try to find the solution how to knock out Usyk. Otherwise, it won't good look for him. If he goes through the distance, there is like less chance for him to win on points than for Usyk. But it's good to punch, but to find the way to punch Usyk, it's very complicated because of his footwork, because of his aggression, because of his cutting angles. That's always you see how Joshua, how disappointed Joshua was after the fight. That was because he was completely frustrated. He tried to hit Usyk, but Usyk was on the other side. I mean, he tried to hit him on the other side, and suddenly Usyk was back on that side. This movement, I mean, this footwork, it pays a lot. This is something that you don't find really often, especially in heavyweights.
I have a theory about Tyson Fury, and it's obviously we've seen the different styles. We've seen him being able to move around the ring and get up on his toes, but more recently, he's, as Josh has said, he's going forward. He's more aggressive. He's planting his feet a little bit more. Would you agree with today here, and that Fury cannot move like he used to? He's not able to do that, rather than this being a tactical change?
No. Fury, in this last fight, I was sitting in the ringside, and most of the fight I was watching Fury's footwork. And it's amazing how a man like him can move, can use his feet. It's not about muscles, it's about the instincts, boxing instincts. It's the boxing skill. He's been practicing a lot since being a child, probably, a kid. Because after the punch, he jumps back, then he jumps in, and then jumps back, being that heavy. That's amazing. That's good. That's much better than Anthony Joshua used to move in the ring, or not mentioning Derek Chisora. But it's good to use it when you see like a punching bag in front of you, so you can jump, you can adjust your legs for it. But if there's someone else moving around you, so you cannot control it, and you have to keep your focus on the man, and it's complicated. The biggest challenge for Tyson Fury will be to find the proper sparring partners for the training camp, because a southpaw, not that tall, moving like that and punching like that, it's really complicated. I don't see a lot. I mean, even something similar.
But likewise for you guys, it's going to be difficult to find sparring partners to replicate Tyson Fury.
Probably yes, but it's much easier to find a tall man and to make him execute some kind of assignments in the ring, rather than just to copy what Usyk does in the ring.
What's a harder fight for Usyk, would you say, Joyce or Dubois? Because they're different styles. One's kind of more in I would say I put him more in the AJ bracket, and Joyce is just his own man, the juggernaut.
Joyce is much harder than Dubois, no doubt about it.
I can imagine that. I mentioned AJ there just briefly. Wilder AJ, how do you see that fight going? Do you think that can get made?
Difficult question. I would say it's a 50-50 fight. If it goes the distance, then Joshua is the winner. If it ends within, then bigger percentage is for Wilder.
I think that it's the wrong fight at this stage for AJ to take. I think that Wilder, although there's many better technical fighters than him in the heavyweight division, he's probably the biggest punching heavyweight around. And one of the issues with AJ is he's very static and doesn't move his head. And I think at some point, Wilder potentially could take him out. And I just think there's still a few demons from Ruiz, from the two fights with Usyk, and he needs to get rid of them first, get maybe a couple of wins before he goes in with the top boys again.
The best option for AJ to get back to the big boxing is the fight that you mentioned before, is the Wilder fight. If he goes through Wilder, then he's confident, then he's back, then he made his statement for the return. If he doesn't, then he just has to retire.
If Wilder knocks him out, then it's over. It's over for him. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think. Maybe in UFC, maybe in MMA or whatever, but not in the boxing. There's not too much left for him otherwise.
So, Alex, while we've got you here on Chatterbox, I want to ask you the question: what fight do you want to see next? I think we know the answer to that. And where do you want to see that fight happen?
The next fight we want to see, it's not just not just myself, but Usyk and his team and everyone in the world, is the undisputed heavyweight championship. Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk. We are now in the position of making it fight happen. Regarding the place and the timing, so this fight has to happen until the 4th of March. And the location for this fight is planet Earth, planet Mars, Moon, whatever, because it can be accepted everywhere in the world, as it's the biggest fight of the history. So we heard some talks from Saudi Arabia, but they never came up with any serious offer. I mean, any concrete offer. I've been in talks with some other countries, like, so we have a deadline until the end of this year to finalize the location. If it doesn't end up properly until the end of the year, then it will probably land in Wembley. British fans deserve it, as no other fan in the world, for supporting boxing the way we do in England, in United Kingdom, in Great Britain. it's difficult to find anywhere on planet. So if we don't find the solution until the end of the year with the Middle East, so it will definitely go to Wembley or to Cardiff or to any other place in the United Kingdom.
Is that a concern for you, Alex, to have it if it does end up in the UK?
It's not a concern. It's good news. You know, there's no other place in the world with that kind of atmosphere on a boxing match.
No doubt, that's a fight I think everyone would love to see happen in the UK. I don't know, Usyk's got a lot of fans here. Obviously, Tyson Fury is his hometown, so no doubt about that. Listen, that's all we've got time for in part two. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. Some fascinating insight there. Now, we're swapping one great guest for another. In part three, we're going to be joined by the world-renowned combat sports journalist, Ariel Helwani.